Good morning!
She was in that movie.
Hey, it is May the 4th. That's right, May the 4th be with you. 2022, we welcome you to Jake's Bounty. What the fuck Wednesday? I'm in the garage. Let's do it.
That she said better and this balls smell like cheddar.
Alright, thank you very much. Yes, she had sex with the Holy Ghost. She said she had better. In fact, his balls smelled like cheddar. Let's go ahead and thank you to our sponsors right now. Aloha. We've got right now Ray's Video, $1 7-day rental. Aloha. Also got Dog Training for Dummies. Over here at Jake's Bounty, when you type in the word dumb, you get it for $5.99. And that music that you heard from there, upcoming album, Possession by Cream, Volume 8, By Any Means Necessary. And that song was entitled, what was entitled? Church and State, alright? About a girl having sex with the Holy Ghost, and that's none of my business. Sounds like something for more than church and state, alright? Well, we had some news over the last 24 hours, so let's get to it. A driver was hospitalized after crashing into a spray rig in Tulare County. This happened 4 a.m. this morning at Avenue 352 near 36 south of Traver. Volkswagen Jetta hit spray rig, and apparently the driver of the Volkswagen Jetta did receive major injuries. The driver of the tractor was not hurt, and they are determining what led to the crash as of right now. All right, clash over abortion access reaches Central Valley, Central California. A demo had been heard downtown Fresno evening, just 24 hours after a Supreme Court draft opinion overturning the Roe versus Wade was leaked out. Some opposing it were doctors actually saying there are safety reasons that they need to do this. More is at our sister station about this story. You can go ahead and check it out on abc30news.com. Survivor details drug deal turn double homicide over there at Woodward Lakes. This happened among 4 friends in December of 2017. Michael Rackleys was able to get away, but Brandon Fairhead and Scott Gaffney weren't so lucky, as they counterfeited money and Xanax. They got caught up. And anyway, Gary Perry got caught the next day, and he now faces life in prison with without possibility of parole if convicted. All right. So that's what he's got going on. Let's go ahead and get into Dog Training for Dummies. All right. Let's see if I can find anything. Nope, that's not something I want to talk about because I've already talked to it. I do want to talk to you about my dog almost got out. Well, he did get out, but he actually almost got picked up by somebody else. Yeah, what happened was he ended up seeing a cat outside of our house, and our window was still open. So he jumped out of the window, went for the cat, and I ended up trying to look for him. I'm not successful at first. And then my mom sees him and yells out, "Doo, doo." So he comes, runs. But apparently, before he was going to run to my mom, there's this car that was saying, "Come on, guy, get in the car." And I was like, oh, shit, somebody wanted him. Not to say that I would have let it happen, but, you know, I could tell why they wanted him. It's a good-looking dog. But then as soon as they probably get to know him, they're like, shit, this guy's a lot more handful. All right, well, let's go ahead and see what we're going to do today for Dog Training for Dummies. Taking a pleasure walk with your dog. Let's see. Taking your dog for a nice, pleasant, long walk is like music for your soul and good exercise for you, both of you. Or it should be for when you both know how to walk together. Teaching your dog to walk on a loose leash makes your strolls a pleasant, more rather a pleasure than a chore. I can attest to that. I've taught my dog Mickey how to walk off leash, and it's just nice, you know. In this chapter, we will provide you with everything you need to know in order how to take a pleasant walk or romp in the park, including how to end your dog's pulling and how to get him familiar with distractions. So they use the right leash and collar when walking your dog. So there's more than just one leash or collar to walk your dog. Training the pleasure walk. That sounds kind of dirty, but trust me, it isn't. Adding distractions, training with distractions. Now here we go. More good ideas from Dog Training for Dummies right here at Jake's Value. Type in the word dummy, you get over $5.99. All right. Okay, well, it is a Wednesday, a What the Fuck Wednesday, so let's go ahead and get into our What the Fuck story. Comes all the way from Australia. We're going to use some names that aren't the original names. Some of the names have been changed to protect the identity. We'll go with the names Jesse and Belma. All right, so Jesse and Belma are a couple about to get married in Australia, and they like to hike, and so this one time they end up going hiking, right? And what ends up happening is Jesse ends up saying, hey, you know, let's go hiking. And so they go and you get into their car and they drive it to the spot. But on the way to the spot, Jesse says, hey, I see some roadkill over there, you know, but Belma doesn't want to stop. But Jesse's like, okay, well, we can stop on the way back. All right, so they go ahead and they have their fun, and, you know, they can say, oh, we got to get back at a certain time. So they're going to pack up and they go ahead, and Jesse's like, hey, could you stop back on the way so we can look at that roadkill? And Belma's like, okay, yeah, we can do it as long as we have enough time, you know, get back to do what we have to do, you know. And so Jesse, he's like, all right, keeps an eye out for that roadkill. And then he's like, well, I must have not seen it. Do you mind if I just go ahead and go up a little bit and see if I can find it? And Belma was like, okay, but remember, we got to be back at, you know, a certain time. So, all right, so Jesse gets out of the car, he runs and, you know, tries to look for the roadkill, and he goes around the corner. Now he can't be seen by Belma anymore. Belma's like, oh, okay, you know, a little worried, but, you know, he's going to be back a couple of minutes, sure. So she just lets it go. And then a couple more minutes go by, and then an hour, and then hours go by, and Belma's like, well, what the hell is going on, right? What she doesn't know is that Jesse is over here now getting his shit together, which was like some like mask and some like dark clothing, and they ended up dressing himself up to look like somebody else completely, you know, a thief, you know, a bad guy, whatever you want to call it. And he goes up to Belma in her car and he orders her out of the car, you know, and he has a gun and he places her in, you know, the back of the car, and the trunk rather, and now he drives all the way up like 6 hours up into the mountain regions of this place, Australia, and he ends up getting her out of the car. She's blindfolded. He takes the blindfold off just enough so you can see that he's digging a hole for her. So it looks like, oh, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to put you in here. He puts the blindfold back on her, puts her into the hole, and she's left there for several hours in the hole thinking, you know, the worst is going to happen. And then out of nowhere, she just starts hearing her name being called, you know, Belma. And she's like, oh, it's Jesse's voice. So Jesse's over here, you know, and somehow Jesse and we're together. And so now Jesse's making his way to Belma's voice, and he already knows where she's at because he was the one who did this all to her. So he comes and finds her, you know, and he's also naked at this time to make it look like, hey, you know, they roughed me up, they left me naked, and, you know, I just followed the sound of your voice, and now here we are. Okay, so now he saves her from this hole, and they end up basically trying to find their way out of this forest, and they end up finding this backpack there. And this backpack has this note along with, you know, a bunch of like food and supplies and a sleeping bag. And so they end up having to, you know, stay there for the whole rest of the night, get into the sleeping bag, warm each other up, and do all that stuff, and, you know, get supplies, feed each other. And so they're doing this the whole, like, okay, apparently the marching band is going on in the back of me. No joke. All right, hold on, let me close the door. All right. So that's kind of cool. Every now they have a marching band come around here to the neighborhood just to kind of perform for us, you know. But anyway, back to the story. So this guy, Jesse, he ended up, long story short, he ended up doing this to his girlfriend, Belma, because she was taking forever to have sex with him. And he figured, well, if he saved her from this, you know, incident and saved her from this guy who, you know, was going to bury her, and then she would have sex with him because basically they were getting, you know, cold during the night, and they would have to warm up each other, you know, during the night in the sleeping bag. And Jesse would say, like, okay, well, you know, to survive out here, we have to have sex to keep ourselves warm. But Belma wasn't buying it. She was like, no, I want to save ourselves for marriage. And I don't think that's true. So by the 7th day, Jesse was like, okay, hey, why don't we try this way? And they end up fighting their way and able to find the guy. They flag down, and, you know, they get back to the police and whatnot. And the story makes its way back to the police, and they find out the truth. Well, Jesse and Belma are no longer together. And it seems like he could have just waited a year, you know, because now he's in prison and for kidnapping, yeah. True story, happened in Australia. The names have been changed, all right? Here's something that hasn't been changed, the cans. Here they are once again. All right, so I found about a bag full of cans. Not at first, but after a while I did. So we got some Coors right here, one tall one. Some more apple soda, so finding more of those. Bud Light, and we've got Double Shot right here, and Red Bull, all right. Gives you wings, okay? Well, that's gonna do it for us today. I keep on hearing more and more marching band music, so before I get more interrupted, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. And I'll tell you about tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have Throwback Thursdays, we'll have the news, we'll have my bounty and so much more. We'll also have, I promise, a scene from Aloha. Like, you guys need to see it, this movie sucks. Also more hints and advice from Dog Training for Dummies, and more music from Possession by Cream Volume 8, By Any Means Necessary, like this song right here, which is entitled Church and State. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys be good to yourselves and be good to each other. All right, see you.
Seem like something I should get into.
Jake's Bound was filmed at Fornicate Yourself Records Production 2022. Follow his Facebook, his channel, his website, leave a like, leave a comment. As always, please
Maybe,
subscribe.
who knows?